First things first, Frances, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
Good.
So before we talk about your new album, I'd like to jump back to the beginning a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall the first song that you wrote that you were proud of?
Oh, that I was proud of? Oh, probably, yeah. I think I was probably proud of all of them, but the first one I ever wrote was a song called Unbreakable.
Okay.
I think I was quite proud of it because it was the first one I wrote.
Well, what age was this?
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you remember where it started?
Yeah, I started it on the piano.
Okay.
Wrote like a little piano thing. I kind of did the same thing for the whole song, but it worked.
But it's age 13, quite young, so
yeah.
Were you already putting a lot of thoughts to paper and thinking about kind of sound structures and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, kind of, but I just kind of for fun. I just thought that that was what everyone did, I guess. At least what I did and some of my friends were doing. We kind of write songs, and that was just, it's like just a little fun hobby that I thought everyone did it. It was weird.
And then I imagine you had a piano at home, so were your parents very musical?
No, not really, but they really loved music, and I think from quite an early age recognised that I really loved it as well. So, and they just kind of thought, they just kind of got a random piano and had it in the house just in case I wanted to play it, and it's good they did, because obviously I played it like all the time.
Yeah. So you see this piano. Well, what kind of music was being played around the house, or was your kind of introduction to music completely your own? Was it something you did?
It was loads of different stuff. My mum listened to loads of Motown, and she loved Carole King and ska and stuff. She loves all that stuff. And then my dad was more kind of indie. He listened to like Radiohead, Beck, Bjork and stuff. So yeah, there was like a real range of stuff. A lot of kind of classic songwriting, but also kind of more edgy stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what did you gravitate towards as you, well, you mentioned the age of 13, so...
And I loved all of it, to be honest, but then I kind of developed my own taste. So I mean, when I was young, I was listening to like Spice Girls and stuff, obviously. Right. Just because everyone else was. Yeah, so I had a real mix, and then when I started writing, I just wrote what I liked. I'm not sure what genre you'd really put it in what I was doing. I guess it's just kind of similar to what I do now, but yeah, I just kind of wrote what I wanted to hear, I suppose. Yeah. And
you say you kind of were proud of everything that you did?
I think so, yeah.
But I suppose there's also been quite a development from those early years. So how have you seen this development, and especially as leading up to kind of becoming a professional artist? Yeah,
it's been interesting. I guess you can't really, when you're doing it, you can't really notice it. It's only when you look back and you go, oh, that's interesting, you know. I do, like some of the songs on my album I wrote while I was at university, so I was like 18, 19, and there is definitely a difference between those and the songs I've written in the past kind of 2 years. I guess the songs I've written more recently are technically better in terms of songwriting. Maybe that the structure is probably a bit clearer and the lyric is probably a bit clearer, but it doesn't mean to say that they're better songs, I think they're just kind of different, but I can feel myself kind of learning all the time and improve, just more learning about how to get the most out of my creativity, I think. Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to jump to the album, or at least mention the album, things I've never said, because what was the oldest song that ended up on the album?
The oldest one is a song called, was it Drifting or either Drifting or Sublime. I wrote them very close together when I was at university.
And with either of this song, because it's been a couple of years, do you still have the same emotional connection to the song, or kind of the origins where it came from?
Yeah, definitely. I think actually more so with those songs, because they were written from a very kind of organic place, like no record label was involved, no manager, like nothing. It was just me at university just kind of doing my thing, whereas the songs I've written more recently are just as honest and lovely, but they were kind of, you know, I was writing them when I'd been signed. It was a different kind of objective in my head, I think, even if I tried not to think about it. But there's definitely a kind of, oh, I've got a record deal now, I need to like write some good songs. But yeah, it's weird.
Because am I right in saying that at university you were still thinking about just being a songwriter and not necessarily singing? Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
How come?
I don't know really. I guess at that point I hadn't really found my singing voice. That sounds weird. Like I hadn't written songs yet that I could imagine myself singing, and then I just wrote a couple and was singing them, and I was like, oh, and it just suddenly kind of clicked. Or I never considered that I could be an artist and sit and play the piano. Like in my head that wasn't a possibility. And then I was just one summer, I think between years at university, I was writing some songs, and I was like, oh, I could this is it. Like I could just do this, and I could go on stage and just sit and play the piano. Yeah.
Exactly, because well, you must have known that you had you could carry a tune, that you had a good.
I knew
voice.
I could sing. Yeah, I could
Right.
sing in choirs, and I loved singing. Sing like all the time, and whenever I'd write a song, I'd just sing it, whatever the genre. I'd sing some kind of super poppy thing, and then maybe something more rocky. But so I knew I could sing, but it's a different thing, like having as an artist, like having a connection to some songs, I think. Yeah.
So what was that? Do you remember your first show? Kind of being.
Yeah, it was at university actually, in our little like canteen. Okay. Yeah, but it was nice. It was quite a scary first show because it was a performing arts university, so it's a fun kind of Friday night gig where everyone can come and play, but actually everyone's kind of judging you.
Sure,
and
sure.
They're all so musical, so they're kind of listening for like every little thing you're doing. But it was good. It was good.
Okay. But so did you? I don't know the right word, but did you grow into it very easily? The kind of performing and being on stage with just you on the piano?
I'd been on stage anyway since I was really young, because I played the violin and the piano, and I've always done concerts. I was quite used to being in front of an audience, and I used to act as well. So that part of it wasn't too bad, but it's different, singing your own songs on stage is a very different thing. Yeah.
So in what sense then? Was it because it's personal and
yeah, also because you've created it. Whereas if you're playing the violin, you're usually playing something that someone else has written. You're just kind of showing your skill of replicating that, whereas it's your own song and it's your voice as well. It's like you can't change your voice. That's just it's you. Yeah.
So if people don't like it, then that's
it. Yeah. But then that's kind of freeing. It's kind of cool. So.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
And so was it? And you mentioned you started songwriting at age 13. So was it easy to open up or be vulnerable in that way as well?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but when I was 13, I wasn't really thinking too much about lyrics, actually.
Right.
I mean, occasionally I would, but I was more into the music and playing the piano and hearing my voice kind of over the piano, and the lyrics would come with it. But I think that's something that I learned as I got older, that lyrics was the most important thing. So it wasn't until I was probably about 16, 17 where I probably felt I had anything relevant to say. When I was 13, it was just kind of like... storytelling.
Once you had something to say, was it as a lot of artists say an outlet to get your thoughts straight? Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, I think it must. Yeah, in some ways, not consciously, but I think it must have been. Yeah.
Because can I assume most of it's autobiographical?
Oh yeah, most. I mean, 90%. Yeah.
Right. This is a mean question then, but if we go to the debut album, what was the most difficult song to get through, in terms of the lyrics? Or
none of them were that difficult, because I feel like if I wanted to write the song, then I was going to write it. Like it was just going to be written. And actually, some of the most ones that sound the most kind of personal were actually the easiest to write because the lyrics were already there almost. I just needed to kind of write them down. But actually, the hardest songs to write in terms of songwriting are the ones where I'm not as connected with them. I'm connected to all the songs, but if I'm only connected on a small level and the rest I'm kind of storytelling, that becomes hard because it becomes like an exercise. Whereas if you're really connected to it, it's just what you're feeling, so it's easy. Yeah.
But that's very interesting then, because might that have been kind of what drove you to be an artist? Because you were writing for other people, but you couldn't make that connection?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, exactly. Because if any song I write, I have to connect to in some way. But the ones that I sing, I have to relate to, because I just don't feel like I can deliver them properly otherwise.
Right.